Okay, I'm back and actually had to start the second video because I messed up and pushed the wrong button on my phone and stopped the recording of the first one. So we are on video number 2. Thank goodness I don't have to rely on this for a living because I'm not very good at this, and B, it's just taking me like all day. So this is not an indication of how difficult this template is, because it really isn't. It's just for some reason between my phone and everything else, this is pretty much taking me all day to do. Anyway, okay, so I went and I sewed the card slot pocket onto my liner, and you will notice that I added a little pin loop. I kind of decided to do that at the last minute, kind of forgot about that, but basically I just cut a strip of leather about 3/4 of an inch wide and got it to about how thick or how big of a loop I wanted, and I just tucked it underneath there. So we are now ready to, well actually, so basically like I said earlier, we're pretty much done with the liner, because this bottom will get sewn on when we sew the liner to the back or to the front of the wallet. So we can go ahead and put these aside for now. So now we need to concentrate on the front wallet, the front of it. You know, what I have decided to do is I'm going to use this end of that overlay template, and I'm going to position it right up alongside that edge. And I have it set so that it folds over, and I decided to just do it straight across the back. So with those templates, you can do however you want. I could have reversed that pattern on the back. I could have used the other end of it, but I decided to use this one. And I've got it set up so that when I fold these the way that they're supposed to be, that it kind of pretty much comes out even to where this little dip here is going to line up on the back side. You can kind of see. So that's about approximately what I'm after. So what I need to do is I need to applique this onto the top of my wallet. I went ahead and I already put my edge coat on the edges. So now all I got to do is get this taped on where I want it, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew it down. So I'm just going to put some tape in some spots just to hold it. I want to keep that tape out of where I'm going to stitch. Okay, so when I stitch this on here, I only want to do the top and along this. I don't want to do any edge that I will sew when I sew around the whole outside edge. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to stitch over it twice, because I think it looks kind of sloppy. So I'm going to stitch across here, and I'm going to start here and just do to there, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to leave this open, and I'm going to leave this open. Okay. So there it is. Okay, so let's go over now. We're gonna go over to my Cobra Class 20, and I'm gonna sew this with that because on the front, I want the heavier thread because I think it looks nicer. On the inside, I did everything on the Singer because I used the 69 weight thread on all the outside edges. I want a little bit heavier thread, so I'm gonna use the Cobra. So let's go over there. I'll go ahead and bring the phone so that you can see that machine too. Okay. This is new. I just got this, and I actually love it. The only thing is different that I have to get used to is this has a knee lift for the presser foot, and then it has a pedal for the gas, whereas when I'm using my Singer, my knee lift is my gas. So anyway, sometimes I have to be very careful, and because otherwise I'm thinking I'm giving it gas and I'm really releasing the presser foot, or I think I'm not giving it gas and it goes ugly sometimes fast. Let me go grab my glasses. Okay, my glasses, my old lady glasses. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to put my needle down. And I want to start a little bit away from about where my side seam is going to come down is where I want to start. Stitch line there. Now this, you gotta wanna be, I like to make them look really good. Try to get my stitches nice and even. So I kind of go slow. I'm also pretty anal, so honestly, I'm counting the stitches in my head. I know it's kind of pathetic, but I know that I went 6 stitches across and 4 stitches down. And there's that. I think I got a little off there. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, let's go back over here. Okay, so now I got this sewn on. What I'm going to do, I think, on this one is I am going to put I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the magnetic closure on this, and I'm going to put this little deal on it. The nice thing about this, it's big enough that my magnet's going to go kind of right about there, but this is actually going to cover that up so you'll be able to see it. And I think so I'm going to put this on, and I think I'm going to add a few little ties. Now what I could have done if I wanted to, which would be kind of cool, is on the back side here, I could have taken like a lace. It's another idea. And say sewn that into there. And then I could have had that come around, and you could put like a little bone, I don't know, a little bone embezzlement thingy here, or embellisher thing here, so that you could actually attach it. So that would be kind of cute. You could put a concho. You could put a wider one and just wrap it around a concho if you didn't want to put snaps. But anyway, okay, so I've got that sewn on. Now, if I want to add any decorative spots, now would be the time to do that. And here's kind of a little, this is what I like to do, just so I can see how I want to place or what I like. I take my old spots that either when I set them, that the legs crimped or collapsed or whatever. So I take those and I actually cut the legs off. So I have all these little spots that have no legs. And the fun thing, I can just place them and see if I like the looks of it. So these are little decorative, these are 5/8 inch spots. I could do something like that. Let's see if you can see it. If I wanted to, I could add actually a row of spots back here, but for this one, I'm not gonna. And even though this is copper or this is antique brass, I think that looks fine. I do have some antique brass spots. Let me go, I'm gonna go see what else I got. Hold on. Okay, so we're gonna set the spots. This is my Heritage spot foot press. Sets spots, sets rivets, it sets double cap rivets, splash rivets, sets snaps, my spots, pretty much everything. So, and I decided I'm gonna use a 5/16 spot instead of the 3/8, just a little bit smaller, just because I wanna make sure I've got room to stitch along that bottom after I put the spots on. So anyway, so this is my die for my 5/16. And I've got these little starburst spots. These, I believe, came from SX Industries, I believe. And I went ahead and kind of marked about where I want to put them. I'm just going to kind of line it up in the corner about where I want it and press with my foot, and there is my spot. And the edge sets really nice through the soft leather. can also set these by hand if you don't have a foot press, but okay, there's those. Now what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna add some brass ones to kind of pull it all together. So I'm gonna do some 1/4 inch brass ones. I'm gonna switch out the dies and put my 1/4 inch. You gotta watch, sometimes these, on these softer metals, the legs are kind of bent in a little bit and they don't fit up in the die like they're supposed to, so you kind of have to either spread the legs apart or get a different one that's not bent. Just like I said, these softer metals, when those spots kind of get crimped a little bit, you gotta be careful. Okay, what I'm gonna do on this is I think I'm just gonna put these kind of right off the corners. Hopefully they look all right. See, here's one I was telling you about, so you gotta kind of watch ones like that. Okay. And there we go. So let's go back over to their table. All right, so now we're ready to sew our liner. We're just about finished. We are going to, I'm gonna go ahead and tape my liner all the way around on the outside edges. And then I'm gonna position this where it needs to go. And then before we sew it, because if you remember, while we sew around, we're also gonna sew this on, so we're only sewing through this once. But before we actually sew it around, I wanna at least get my closure on this, because I want it to be behind that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and tape this down, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna put this closure, the magnetic closure here. We don't have to worry about this until the end because we're gonna cover it up with that concho. So I'm gonna pause it, I'll be right back. All right, so I've got my liner taped to my back or to my main part of the wallet. So really what I need to do now is determine exactly where I want my closures to be. Now I went ahead and marked it from the template, but I did not put any holes in it because I want to make sure that there hasn't been any change as far as how I want it placed since I marked it. So those are kind of just indications on approximate. I would recommend that you don't punch those holes until you get ready to put it together and make sure that's exactly where you want it. So this is gonna end up being sewn here. So I'm gonna fold that up, and I want to fold it up so it's pretty much right in line with the top of the zipper. And then I'm gonna bring this one down. And I went ahead, like I said, there's my mark right there. And then I marked on the inside about where those line up. So it's gonna line up like this. This closure is gonna sit about right there or so. And then this is gonna be right over top of it. So I think where I've got them is where I want them. So what I'm gonna do is, this is the one I need to worry about. And I like to put, on this part, I like to put the female end of the magnet. And that's gonna go on the right side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the little backer things, and I'm gonna line that up with my mark. And then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, and I'm gonna cut the slits. Where I want them. You could also just use your pencil and mark your pencil, and then come back and use your knife too. Whatever you're more comfortable with. And like I said, I've got the lining taped where I want it on the back, and I'm gonna cut through both layers. Put through, put that little cap on, and bend those legs out. So there is my magnet is installed. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and glue or tape this so that I can sew around the whole thing. So once we actually do that, we are basically done. The only thing we have left to do is put the magnet on the top, and that's it. So I'm gonna put some tape on there. Again, I'm gonna keep it away from the edge so it's not in my stitch line, and then I'll go back in there and pull that out when it's done. Okay. Okay, so that's where I want it. Now, all I have to do is I'm going to stitch around the whole outside, and I'm going to stitch it from this side, because I want my pretty stitches to be on this side. And on that, you can definitely, there's a little bit of a difference. Let me show you, like here. So there's the outside stitches, and then the inside stitches aren't quite as pretty, so I want to keep those on the side. Okay, so I'm gonna go over and do that on the class 20. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got this sewn all the way around, and I actually went ahead and added a D-ring on the side, because I'm gonna make a little wristlet for this also, a detachable wristlet. So anyway, okay, I sewed around the edges. I trimmed up my edges nice. I went ahead and edge coat them. Another thing too, if you do get little frays on it, you could always just take a lighter and burn that edge. So I went around and did all that, kind of got all my little strings trimmed and edges painted. So the only thing I have left to do now is position my top magnet. What we're gonna do is, got a little trick. I'm gonna take this pencil that I've got and I'm just gonna color the ends of this. And then I'm gonna stick this in my magnet. Make sure everything is nice and lined up straight on the sides, and I'm gonna bring this top down so it's about where I want it. So I'm gonna say that I want it to be pretty much, I want it to line up about the bottom of this. I want there to be room in the wallet so you can put stuff in it, but I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be too tight or too loose. So that's gonna give me, let's just say from the fold, from the bottom fold to the edge here is about 1.25 inches. Okay, so I'm gonna put that magnet back in there. Like I said, I'm gonna color the ends of these with this pencil. And then I'm gonna bring this over about where I had it lined up. And I'm just gonna rub that on there and just see, and it's gonna transfer my marks to the inside. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so we got our marks for where we're gonna line up the top magnet. And all I want to do is I just want to make sure that I got this nice and centered. I'm going to position this where I have those marks. Okay, so because we're gonna be covering this again with this, we don't have to worry. We can go ahead and do them through all the layers. Now, if I did not have this to put over top of it, what I would have done is left it open right here at the bottom. I would have installed my magnet and then I would have went ahead and closed it back up. So anyway, let me go ahead and get this installed. I'm gonna pause it. My phone is about out of getting low on battery, so I'm gonna pause it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my magnet installed and I went ahead and put the concho on and did the little tie. So there is the finished wallet. You can see how that worked. And then what I'll do is just make a little handle, a little wristlet, and put it on a swivel clip. That way somebody can use it if they just want to take just their wallet with them. So anyway, there it is, all finished. Hope you all enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, feel free to post the questions. Also, make sure that if you want to order the template set, it's at tacktemplates.com. It's under the category wallets and bags. And then also make sure that if you are a customer of ours and have bought from us before, that you, if you're interested, you can join our Facebook group. It's a private group for customers only. Great group that you can post questions and projects and stuff that you're working on. Otherwise, you can follow us on our Facebook page, Tack Templates. Thanks so much, and I hope you enjoyed it.